Hello there, friends. Oh, am I happy to see you here? Oh, I am so pumped to be sharing with you today what to pack for your pageant. I'm going to give you the complete guide, including this freebie. This is the freebie that goes along with today's episode. So if you go to winapageant.com/packing list, you will be able to download this free guide to guide you through everything. Now, here is what we are going to cover today. First, we are going to talk about your emergency kit. So this is to overcome any backstage mishaps, anything that could go wrong. So what to put in that. We're going to talk about your rehearsal bag to make the most of those long days in the theater. Your winner's go bag. This is going to be after you win the pageant to keep you fresh at the gala or the media, press conferences, things like that after you win. And then all of the little extras that are going to help you feel more prepared and more confident, okay? So welcome to this live video, what to pack for your pageant. Could you please say hello in the comments below? Introduce yourself so we know what pageant you are competing in and when is your pageant. I know that some pageants are coming up very soon. I recommend that you start this packing process like a week or 2 weeks before you have to actually leave. That's because you're going to be trying a few different things out. There's a lot to remember and a lot to pack, but I promise that this packing checklist is going to help you a ton. I actually have a printed copy of it here. It's many pages long, but it's because it's exactly what you need. Like exactly a checklist of what you need for, it goes over actually your hotel, like what things you should keep in the hotel room, your personal items that you may or may not want to bring, your emergency kit, which we're going to get to first, your backstage bin, so what should actually be backstage, your rehearsal bag, which we're going to go over today, your winner's bag, competition wardrobe. I even include a checklist for you there and a bunch of other good things. So you can get this by just going to this link below, winapageant.com/packing list. Hi guys, great to see you on. Jessica, I'm pumped that you're here. Mrs. Marilyn, oh my gosh, Madison, your local pageant is this Saturday. Perfect timing. I'm so glad that you are on with us. Great to see you all checking in. Bria, hello. Miss Houston, USA on April 10th. This comes at perfect timing for you as well. I'm so pumped that you guys are here to join us. Thanks for saying hello. Without further ado, don't forget, if you are just joining us live, make sure that you get this free complete packing checklist, because this thing is going to help you be able to check off all of the items. All right, so let's dive in to the very first thing that we are going to cover, and that is what to pack in your emergency kit, just in case. Now, this really is all the bigger your emergency kit needs to be, okay? Now, I have a link to this exact emergency kit in the packing checklist, so you'll be able to see this specific one. But it comes with, actually, these are very common for bridal parties and for brides to have a little like emergency kit along the way, okay? So you can get this on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, but let me just show you what I would recommend you have in your emergency kit. I don't know if you can see it. It fits a lot more than you might imagine. Okay, so some of the things that are vital, and there are gonna be things you'll want in your emergency kit that are a little bit different for everybody, you know? Like for me, bobby pins is very important because I actually use bobby pins on a regular basis. So it helps me, especially with curly hair. Sometimes I need to do a quick change. So bobby pins can be very important. So you don't need a ton, just stick a few in there. Now, this specific one, if you buy it on Amazon, which I have the link to it in that checklist if you are interested in that, but it comes with these individual packets. So this is a nail polish remover. This one is Schmergency tape. So that's like double-sided tape, stain remover. So these are some of the things that you might consider putting in your emergency kit. I just love that this one comes with these small things anyway. This even has a little thing of deodorant. But I would recommend that you even have like Tylenol or ibuprofen. Even if you are not the type that usually uses those things, it's an emergency kit, right? We're hoping we don't have to use any of these things. But on the off chance that you get hurt or that you who knows, you stub your toe and it hurts really badly, you just might want to pop an ibuprofen, okay? Alka-Seltzer, like little things like this. You could also get these in the travel aisle at like a Walmart or CVS or something like that to just tuck them into your emergency kit, okay? Now, there is a list in the actual packing list. You'll see a bunch of other ideas of things that I would recommend that you include in your emergency kit. But I think it's just the most, just so easy to just get one that's already made. Brides, you may already have one. Or if not, if you were a bridesmaid or something like that, you might have a kit like this just from the last, not pageant, wedding that you were in. So, okay, so this is your emergency kit. Now, what I love about it being so small, you could put in here like moleskin, cut off a little moleskin. That's like the blister blocking stuff. There's a lot of other things. You might even put actually this original kit came with a little tampon. That was super small that fit in this little thing, So you could put a lot into this small little kit, emergency numbers, perhaps, stuff like that. Okay, so then let me just, for those of you who are just, because I see some people coming on just live right now, I want to just remind you to get this packing list, because this is where you're going to really be able to take a deep dive into these specific items that I'm bringing up. So I want to hear from you. What would you put in your emergency kit? So think about the things that are important to you. I want you to see in the comments below, enter it in the comments just to help everybody out. Maybe there's something that I forgot that you would suggest I even add to this list. Enter that in the comments below so we can help each other out, because the emergency kit, as you know, is often the thing that even we don't use for ourselves, but we might gift to somebody else. So a Band-Aid or eyelash glue. In fact, I remember I was at an awards event a couple of years ago now, and my earring back kept falling off. It was too loose for the earring that it was on. And so it would fall off and the heavy earring would fall out. And this woman, Melissa, happens out of nowhere. I was like, hey, do you have an extra earring back or anything? And she's like, lash glue? And I was like, let's give it a go. So we used her lash glue and it worked the whole rest of the nights. I will be forever grateful to her for that in her emergency kit. So that is not just for you, it's for everyone. Okay, so comment below and we will add it to the packing list. All right, so the next thing we are going to cover is your rehearsal bag. Okay, now, your rehearsal bag, I call it the Mary Poppins bag. It ought to be pretty durable, okay? Pretty heavy. It doesn't have to be a Louis Vuitton bag, although it could be, but it ought to be very large. Bria, travel can of hairspray. Good one. Yes, that is a good one to stick in your emergency kit. So what I recommend is that your emergency kit go into your bag, okay? So that you're bringing it with you to your rehearsals, because again, you just never know, okay? Now, what else goes into this bag? Well, a few of the things that you could imagine, okay, Band-Aids, those are good to have in your kit. You don't need to bring the whole box, just bring a few. Wet ones, this is great for if you got makeup on something or if you need to wipe down the bench before you sit on it, things like that. It's good to just have, sometimes, this is gonna get gross, but sometimes, when you get blisters on your feet and sometimes they burst and then there's you have a bloody toe. Wet ones, okay? Wet ones to the rescue. Okay, so those are that. Okay, now here's something you might not have thought of. I always keep a small, it doesn't have to be giant. Okay, this one's even a little thick, but just a small little notebook that during rehearsal, you can write little notes to yourself even, that you will be okay, I need to remember to bring this tomorrow. You write it down, and then when you are back at your hotel room, you do it, you put it in your bag, and then you can throw that note away, okay? So that's why I like to get it bound like this, so that then I can tear it out easily and not one of those fancy looking ones, So it just makes it really easy to use. Okay, so I would include that, and then a pen, of course. You might have this little bad boy has gotten me through a lot. It's Blister Block. You wouldn't be able to tell because I took the thing off the front, but Blister Block is really great. I have a link to this as well, but it's probably cheaper at a CVS or at a Walmart or something local to you. Okay, now, this is a really good one you probably didn't think of. Hand warmers, okay? The theater is so cold. So if you just get, hunters use these when they sit out on a deer stand and stuff. My dad and brother and sister all use these when they were hunting. Yeah, my sister hunted too. So did my mom, actually. I never made it out. I don't know why. Anyway, so this is gonna keep you warm. I even take these to conferences, put in my shoes, put them in my hands and stuff, just because I get so cold in air-conditioned environments. So that would be really good. Okay, here's another good one. Slippers. And these slippers are phenomenal. The reason I love these specific slippers is because they are kind of cute. I like black or some neutral color just to keep them simple. You could buy a tan or even white. The problem with white is that it would look dirty very quickly, but a gray or something like that would probably be good too. These actually have this plasticky, these are isotoners. They have this easy thing at the bottom so that you could walk on the stage or on cement or on whatever and your feet won't get cold. So it's good for that, but you could also walk outside if you needed to and they're not going to get like filthy on the bottom, you know? So anyway, these things are excellent to have and they're so small, you can just easily fit them right into, instead of like some big puffy slipper, you know? Okay. What else? All right. This lacrosse ball. Now, I brought the lacrosse ball with me to an international pageant, the Miss International pageant, a couple years ago, and it saved my feet. It was the first time that I actually brought it with me. I typically would do it at home. But anyway, what I do is I actually will roll, I step on it. So this is the ground, and then this is my foot on top, and I just roll it around on my foot. It's like getting a massage. It's amazing. These things are really, really inexpensive. You can buy them on Amazon. You could probably get them from, like, I don't know, probably your university is like throwing them away, okay? So like just get a lacrosse ball. They're really a good, you can buy expensive type, like yoga tune-up ball is sort of similar to that, but I found that they wear out somewhat easily, whereas the lacrosse ball is very durable, so it doesn't get messed up or anything. Okay, lacrosse ball. All right. Okay, this big thing, this is your pageant binder, okay? Oh, there's the back. Okay, here's the front. So you're going to want to have your pageant binder with you. This is going to include all of the downloads, all of the like guides that you have, all of your training things, everything like that. You're going to put into your pageant binder. This is the thing that's going to be like your last minute study book before your interview. So little notes and stuff that you're going to want to jot to yourself to remember. That goes in your binder. You'll have time, likely you'll have time at rehearsal to get that out and look at it. So put that in there. Okay, a good book to read. Look what book I have. Of course. So this is my book. It was an Amazon best-selling book, but it covers a lot of pageant things, especially the stuff that comes up last minute and you're like, what do I think about this? Boom, you can just flip to it. Now you could keep this in your hotel room as well, but it's a good thing to take with you. So when you've got some time downtime during rehearsal, you've got it. Okay. It should fit in this giant bag. I'm still pulling just from this bag, okay? Hence the Mary Poppins bag. All right, a sweater. Now, this sweater is not the poofiest sweater ever, okay? But it's a really nice sweater. I have a link to one similar to this on Amazon as well in the shop. In fact, if you go to winapageant.com/shop, I know I keep mentioning, I have this link on Amazon for you, so you can just go there. It takes the guesswork out of it. But that's the direct link. It's also listed in this guide, so you'll see it. But this is so nice because, again, you dress up when you go to rehearsals, so you got to like look sharp. So you don't want to have something that's like, ridiculous. You don't want like a hoodie or something. So this is a way to still have a sweater on, but not feel like you are, dressing down too much. But it's still small, so it condenses really nicely, like a hoodie or something like that wouldn't. Some women bring blankets backstage. You can totally do that as well. For me, that was a little too bulky and I didn't really need a blanket backstage. I just needed a sweater, A scarf could also be useful if you want that kind of thing backstage too. Okay, so I think that's, chapstick. I take chapstick with me everywhere I go, so I would bring that along too. But all that stuff should fit in here. Let me tell you about my last little secret weapon. I actually have it out with me on my desk right now. This water bottle, I have a link to it too. It's the only water bottle that I can find. I actually originally found it at like a TJ Maxx, and then I couldn't find it at TJ Maxx anymore, so I found it on Amazon. I buy these water bottles all the time. My husband also uses them in a different color. But what's so cool about it is that, first of all, it has a handle, so you can carry it when you're walking around places, right? I love that because then I'm not just holding it like this, okay? The next thing is it has a normal-sized thing to drink from so that you don't feel like some of those other ones where you have to unscrew the cap, the lids are so big that you feel like uncomfortable drinking it when you're wearing something because it could pour all over your face, okay? Or is that just me? I don't know. Okay, so then what's the best part is that the bottom of this bottle also unscrews. So actually, you don't need a bottle cleaner. You can stick your hand in here to clean it if you needed to. It's that easy to clean. So you just clean it from this side, you take this part off, you clean up. It's like the easiest thing to do. The last thing I love about this is it actually has, let's see if you can see it, it actually has these numbers on it to track how much have you drank throughout the day. So as you know, you should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces. So take how many pounds you are, divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces you should be having, okay? So it helps to track your water intake throughout your pageant week. Okay, so let me hear from you. What would be the things that you would make sure that you would include in your rehearsal bag? All right, so remember, this is the thing that's going to and from to rehearsal each day, okay? You're also gonna bring things like, some of those days you're gonna bring the shoes for competition. Like maybe one day they'll tell you, hey, tomorrow we're gonna be practicing evening gown. Bring your evening gown shoes, so boom, you'll be able to put those in your Mary Poppins bag, okay? So those are the things that you will have with you day to day. Okay, and I can't say enough about these slippers, by the way. Can I just re-mention the slippers? Like, I'm telling you what, I use those in my day-to-day life too. I just think they're spectacular. Okay, so now, for those of you just joining, don't forget to get this packing list. This is where all of the things that I'm mentioning on this video are there, and there will be more in that thing, okay? I'm just gonna get a quick drink from my favorite water bottle. Okay, what is next? This winner's go bag. Okay, now, this might be a new concept to some of you. So, and especially for people who haven't competed in a pageant before, you wouldn't have necessarily seen what happens after a woman wins, okay? So, you're on stage, the pageant's going great, you go backstage, you put your evening gown on, you go back out, everybody does evening gown. Usually, they have you stay backstage because they don't want to lose anybody, all right? Like you stay backstage, they're maybe announcing the top 10, then they recompete, but right at the end of the pageant, everybody comes on stage, right? You know this part. So if you're in the top 10, let's say, or maybe they're announcing it from everybody, you go back on stage. Now you're on stage. If you win this pageant, you're probably not going back off stage until they've announced you as the winner. You've done your little walk and wave. They've taken photos with all of the other contestants who then get to go backstage and dress for the gala or pack up their stuff and get ready to go. You are still standing there. Now you're taking photos with the judges. Now you're doing press interviews. Now they whisk you backstage. Maybe if you're lucky, the pageant has a makeup artist that they are gonna kind of fix you up and stuff. Maybe if you're lucky, you have somebody that's actually gonna put you in the car and take you to the next location, for your press conference or whatever. Or maybe you just walk through. Okay, but there are going to be some things that you are probably going to want, okay? So when they send a volunteer backstage, they're going to be, okay, like so-and-so won the pageant, so they're going to send a specific person, go backstage and pack up all her stuff. Sometimes, okay? Sometimes it's you packing it up, but sometimes they're saying, hey, you got to go pack this person's stuff up. So somebody else is packing all of your things, okay? You are going to leave them a little note. Thank you so much for helping me pack. Please keep this bag for me. I will need it immediately after I win. Something like that, okay? Don't overthink it. Just put something that says, bring me this bag, okay? Here is the bag that you're gonna want, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be this exact bag, but what I really like about this exact bag is that it unzips all the way, and it opens all the way so you can actually get to stuff quickly, okay? A lot of makeup bags only unzip at the top, so then you're like rooting around, you can't see everything, okay, you can't get to everything. This is why I like this specific bag, okay? It's on the list for you, so you know which one to get. All right, so there's gonna be some things in here that you will want. You're gonna want a lot of the stuff I put in here, but you're also gonna have some things that you specifically want. Okay, so let me go through what I would put in the winner's go bag. Okay, first, deodorant. Okay, so at the end of a pageant, you probably stank, especially because throughout the pageant, I recommend that you do not use deodorant. Here's why. Because when you are putting deodorant on, it is going to get all over your outfits, okay? And these quick changes are going to require that you are able to quickly move around and not worry about getting deodorant on everything, okay? So at the end of your pageant, you're probably going to reek, all right? So you're going to want some deodorant in that bag. Now, before you put the deodorant on, this little bad boy, this is like a little secret trick, okay? And they come, this little thing, okay, it's called a Good Wipe, and it comes in a pack of 10. I would actually put one of these in emergency kit. I would put one in your rehearsal bag, and then I would put one in your go bag. I would even put one in my backstage bag if I had to. Like, I would just keep them everywhere. So basically what they promote themselves as like a shower in a like kit. So you can just undo this. It's like kind of like a wet wipe, but not so aggressive. So it's for the body. And so you could just wipe your armpits down with this, right? Let it dry, and then put on your deodorant, okay? I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Big refresh. Okay, Kleenex, just a little thing of Kleenex because you might be crying or your mom might be crying. I would put in some Advil or ibuprofen. Again, these little guys are game changers. And I would not expect that you're going to remember to take the ones from your emergency kit and put them in there. Just pack them separately, okay? So you don't have to overthink it during your pageant week. You're going to want to have some type of lip gloss, okay? It would be ideal if it's the same color as the one you're competing with. But if it's not, that's okay too. It could just be, your favorite color lipstick. Just make sure it goes with whatever outfit you are going to have for the finals, okay? Now, personally, I would always bring a toothbrush. This little toothbrush is amazing. In fact, it's gross looking because this is the actual toothbrush that I use on a daily basis. I keep it in my clutch, my little purse. But it opens up like this, and then you brush just like a normal brush, and then you can enclose it back in here so that it doesn't get all over your purse. And then boom, you're done. So I would bring this, and I would bring a little bit of a little tiny thing of toothpaste, or you could bring a mouth spray. These little mouth sprays are like just, you just put it right in there. Those are okay. Brushing your teeth is better. Okay, Band-Aids you might include in case your feet get hurt. Okay, powder. So you're probably going to want to bring a translucent powder because, you've been competing this whole time. And even if you've been touching up in between, at the very end, you will have been standing under those stage lights for photos for 30 minutes, okay? So bring a little powder and just a small brush that you can apply some powder at the end there. Okay, chapstick, because I take chapstick everywhere. I would bring a pen, or even, what's even better is a Sharpie marker, one or the other or both, because people are going to want your autograph. And so a lot of people don't bring a pen. They're like, oh, can you sign this? And what are they expecting, that you have a pen? Some people bring them, but not everybody does. So then you could speak to the person who brought this to you or whoever's with you or whatever. Maybe you have it just at your table and you're like, I think I've got a pen. And then boom, you can pull it out. Okay. Now, I like to bring lotion, and personally, I like to have a perfumed lotion. So this is one of my favorite perfumes, and this would be what I would bring with me. Now, you wouldn't want to put this all over your entire body because you'd be like, ugh, all of a sudden you would just smell like perfume. But you could just put it in the areas that would need it. So usually for me, it's the backs of my knuckles, my elbows, my knees, maybe, just some areas that you feel like you might need a little lotion, and a little scent can go a long way. An alternative to that is you can also bring a little, how you can get those little samplers. So you could go to your beauty counter and say, hey, I'm going on to a pageant. Can I just have a little sample of, some perfume? And then you can just kind of put that on at the end. Okay, and a tampon, because you just never know. Okay, so those are the things that I would be putting in this little bag, and all that stuff fits in here. You'd be amazed. Let me actually show you this. Actually, this specific thing has these pockets. So you know what else I would put in one of these pockets so that it is separated? Is my thank you speech. So, after you win, you're going to have all these people you're going to want to remember. Your sponsors, your mom, your coach. Okay, you're going to want to thank these people publicly because it makes a really good impression and helps them to continue to support you during your time, right? So, all that stuff can be really very important, all right? So, now let me hear from you. What would you feel like is important to put in your winner's go bag? What are the things we're not thinking of yet? What are you yeah, but I'd also would put this in, maybe you would put a special gift for your parents or for your greatest supporters or something like that. Maybe you would put in, I don't know. I think someone wrote breath mints. Yeah, Madison put breath mints. Oh, a little nail file. Yes, smart Madison. A little nail file is good. And that's another thing that you can purchase in bulk and then just put one in every place, or two in every place. So if you lose it, that's no big deal, But yeah, nail file would be good because you just never know what goes on backstage, right? Okay, so if you haven't yet, get the freebie. I cannot encourage you enough because there are things on there that I have not gone into depth with. So I highly recommend that you grab that. All right, let's dive in now to all the little extras. Little extras that go a long way. Let me get a little drink first. Bria, I love that you put bronzer or highlighter. Yeah. So smart. Any of those little things can be really helpful too. So yeah, it'll fit in there. All right, now you are going to find some things. This is where it gets weird. Okay, you're going to find some things in this packing list that you're like, Alycia, my goodness, what the heck is that for? Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what some of this stuff is for. Okay, Hi, Alexander. I'm so happy you're on. Guys, Alexander is the most epic video editor of all time. Oh my gosh. Not from the pageant world, but something I learned from ballroom competitions. Oh yeah, is to bring some medicine for a headache. Yes, so smart, especially being in lights and as pageant women, and I'm sure in ballroom dancing, you're like smiling the whole time. And as you smile, you're using all these muscles even behind your ears. So you can tend to get a headache even behind your ears. So yes, brilliant. Bring an aspirin, ibuprofen, Tylenol, something that will help to kind of relieve your headache. Thanks, Alexander. Oh, I'm so pumped that you're on. Oh, I love it. Okay, Lisa says, a mini plastic water bottle for the winner's go bag. Yeah, smart. Something you could just chug real quick and toss. I love that idea. And they make them like, you can get them at the grocery store or something, just small. Brilliant. Eye drops. Oh my gosh, you guys are so good. Yes, eye drops are brilliant. And I prefer the ones that are not medicated. So you can get like Bausch and Lomb, I think is the company that makes them for contact lenses or for dry eyes that's not the like Visine or something. The Visine, things like that, they have medication in them that actually like does something to your blood vessels. But if you just need it for moisturizer, I think that could be really useful. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the stuff that you might not think of that is gonna be on this list and you're gonna be, Alycia, why the heck do I need an apron? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why you need an apron. Because you are going to be doing your makeup, and you're not going to want to get it all over your body. So a little cheap apron goes a long way, okay? You can get a cute one. This one has ruffles. I do recommend that you get it with pockets so that you can stick your brush in there, your hairspray in there, or whatever as you're working. Just make sure that you pull it out of there before you take the apron off so it doesn't go clunking to the floor, okay? But an apron could go a long way. The link that I included for you in the shop, winapageant.com/shop, has a ton of adorable looking aprons so that it doesn't have to look like, you know, some frumpy looking, because you're going to be doing it while you're doing your makeup. You want to look nice, right? Okay. Here's the next thing. This is just a black towel. This one happens to be a kitchen towel. So it's the size of a kitchen towel. One of my clients suggested this to add to the list, which I think is brilliant. So what she said she uses it for is a couple different purposes, which is why I'm going to recommend that you buy a pack of these, like 4 or so. The link that I have for you in the shop takes you to the one that I found this. You don't need anything expensive. Like, you want the cheapest thing, okay? Because you're going to just be using these to dust off your area when you first come to the backstage area, you know, dusting that off. You're going to also be using a different one, so keep these separate, for your face, for your makeup. So you know how you put on all this makeup during the day and then you come back to the hotel room or your Airbnb or whatever at night, and now you've got like all this makeup on, so you get one of their beautiful white towels and now all of a sudden it's covered in like foundation and tanner, okay? So you are going to have a makeup one that's going to be specifically for taking off your makeup at the end of the night. Then, so you're gonna do your first wash. I do 2 washes when I have makeup on. So you do your first wash with the dark one. Then you've got the bulk of it. Now, in your second wash, now you can use those white towels, okay? So black towels, really a phenomenal add-on because it's just, and you might have black towels at home. Just make sure if you're using it for your face, it's brand new, okay? You don't wanna like use something that was used for like the oil in your car or something, right? Okay, so you get the point on that. All right, let me talk to you about this travel steamer. Okay, this, my coach when I was competing recommended this to me. It's by this company called eSteam, although there's a lot of different steamers now out there that you might find useful. Okay, so you plug it in, but first, before you plug it in, you just untwist this top lid and it fills up in here. And you can see on the inside, that's like a heater that heats up and it's gonna boil the water. As the water starts boiling, it comes up through the top and comes out as steam. Now, the biggest thing about this is you have to unplug it when you're done. To turn it on, you plug it in. To turn it off, you unplug it. There's no on-off switch, okay? I actually like that about it so it doesn't get accidentally turned off, but it's dangerous because it could get accidentally stayed on, okay? So you just wanna make sure you unplug it. But I love the shape of it and the design of it because then you can just go like this, down through your wardrobe, okay? Makes it really easy. I recommend that you keep this in your hotel room, that you steam things in the hotel room, but then competition night, it goes in your suitcase and comes with you backstage. You shouldn't need it. You shouldn't need it backstage. I would hope that you don't. And they may also have a steamer for you backstage to use, but just in case, again, listen, pageants are a competition. Okay, I'm about to have a moment with you right now, actually. Okay, listen. Pageants it's a competition, okay? You're not going to go to the Olympics and forget something and rely on somebody else that's backstage with you to have that thing for you, okay? You have to take ownership of this. This is why having your own steamer, having your own towel, having your own whatever, all these little things, you don't need this stuff to win, but it will help you to maintain like an even keel. Imagine you weren't the one with the apron on while people are putting their makeup on. Or imagine you're the one that spills something on yourself, okay? I'm telling you what, just these little things make such a big difference, okay? This is why this is so important. Okay, I'll step off my soapbox. Okay, let's talk about poopery for a moment. Okay, poopery. You've probably heard of this. Maybe you're using it. We, at our house, Randy and I, my husband, we have a poopery in every single one of our bathrooms, and we use it like as a part of our daily process, if you will, okay? Bring this to your pageant because your roommate will love you for it, okay? The way that it works is it's actually made of oils, okay? So you spray it before you sit down to go poo-poo. You spray it on the top of the water. And because it's made of oil and water don't mix, it sits at the top, okay? So then when you poo-poo, the poo-poo goes through the oils and into the bottom of the bowl so that then it's not stinking up the whole bathroom, okay? So then you flush and you move on. Okay, now my dad always said, just do a courtesy flush. Like as soon as you go, just courtesy flush. Like you should be flushing all of the time. So courtesy flush as you go, but also bring a little poopery. I also get this for people as like housewarming gifts, like, cause it's a great thing to have, in fact, that reminds me, I hope my brother's not watching because I think I'm going to get one of these. He just bought a house. I think I'm going to get him one. But anyway, like it's just a fun little gift. They're great Christmas gifts too, because it's something that people use and that people wouldn't think to buy, but it's also like kind of classy, classy for the bathroom. Anyway, it's like $15, so it's totally worth it. I think you can get them at like Bed Bath & Beyond. So if you have one of those coupons for 20% off, you could get those too. Okay, while we're talking about hotel room stuff, let me introduce you to this. Now, you may have a bag that holds your toiletries. When I first started traveling a lot, the bag that I held my toiletries in was another little suitcase. It was gigantic. It was like huge. When I invested in this, and when I say invest, it's very inexpensive, but look at this sucker. This is a toiletry bag that you hang, and you could hang it in, your hotel room or in wherever you're traveling. We go to Airbnbs a lot, but most bathrooms have some type of hook. You could even hook it over the door or something. But this is what and it spins around, so it's an easy thing to hook. You hook it on, and look how much space you are saving. Okay, look at that. Isn't that brilliant? So now you're not sticking all your stuff all over the countertop where you're likely sharing with your roommate, right? So this is going to be helpful because you've got all your stuff. You can see it. It's zipper friendly. These are plastic bag containers. I still use the Ziploc bags, as you can see, just to kind of, double protect it. But I have traveled all over the world with this thing, and I just think it's spectacular. So then you fold it up and you put it in your suitcase, and it's so easy to just take along with you. I actually keep this bag filled up all the time. So I bought, we travel a lot, so I bought a second set of everything. My deodorant, my soap, my and I put it in there. My toothbrush, my toothpaste, everything is in there so that when I travel, I actually store it in my suitcase so that then when I travel, boom, it's ready to go. And I'm not, collecting all these other things. Okay, so hi, Candace. Oh, yes, my dad has great advice, doesn't he? Oh, so funny. Oh, Madison said poopery comes in the travel size as well. Yes, it does. So which is smart. So your travel size you could probably use as well. It's probably a little bit cheaper, but I use it all the time, so I get the big bottle. Okay, so now let's talk about this final tip that everybody has to do. Now, this is not optional. This is you have to do that when you pack for your pageant, okay? And the easiest way to do it is with these labels. Okay. So the thing that you have to do in your pageant is label everything. Okay? I'm talking label your water bottle, label your steamer, label your everything, label your apron, label your hand warmers, label your notebook, label everything. Okay? So I have found that the easy way to do this is to buy these little guys. This company comes, there's a bunch of companies that make this, but what I like about this one is that they come with a Word doc that's very easy to set up with whatever information you want on it. Now, some pageants will say that they want you to label it with your name, your title, and your contestant number. Sometimes they do it like that. What I like to do is anything I can possibly stick on this label, I do. So I put my name, I put my title, I put my contestant number. So it'd be like Alycia Darby, Miss California, number 4 or whatever, okay? Then I also include my phone number because I want people to be able to text me if they find my notebook or something. It's easy to just be like, boom, 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 and my address. Because if I leave my poopery, which I did this once, I left my poopery in the hotel room. It was not labeled and I never saw it again. And I was like, oh, bummer. It's no big deal if it's your $15 poopery, but what if it's your gown? That would be not so nice. Okay, so you're gonna wanna label everything. When you do it this way, you're able to print off a bunch of labels and then you just peel it off. It's so easy, peel it off, you stick it on your stuff. You're like, boom, boom, that's done. Okay, next. And so then once you've got all your stuff, you're like, now you know that is your thing. And so does everybody else, okay? So if it's your water bottle and you forgot it the night before rehearsal and whomever the volunteer is goes and collects it, they're like, oh, this is Alicia's water bottle. Okay, here we go. And they bring it to you. It's brilliant, okay? This is non-negotiable. You don't have to do it this way. Like other women just buy these blank and then they write their names on everything. When I was first competing in pageants, I used masking tape. Oh, what a nightmare. It took me forever. I was like putting masking tape on everything and then writing my name in Sharpie marker, Alycia Darby, and number 4, la la. And I was like, this is a nightmare. It's just so much easier to do it this way. And it's very cost effective too, okay? All right, so my friends, wow, we got through a lot. Okay, I want to hear from you. Keep it coming. Jessica says Downy Wrinkle Releaser. Excellent. A little snack like a granola bar. Yes, that's good. Great snacks. In fact, this is in this list as well. I have a list of little snacks. Some great snacks are like an apple. So an apple, you could pre-cut an apple and have it backstage for you. They're very easy to eat. So slice it small, They're easy to eat. They're refreshing because they have like water in them. They're filling because they have fiber in them. And they're a little bit sweet to kind of give you a little kick, okay? Without like spiking your blood sugar too much, okay? Those are excellent. When you feel like your blood sugar is kind of like dipping or you're getting kind of tired, it's enough of a little boost to kind of fill you. It makes you feel, so you don't have to drink a ton of water and then you'll have to go to the bathroom, right? So it's enough. Apples are phenomenal backstage snack as well. Another good one is crazy beef jerky. In fact, there's this company that I love. It's a paleo beef jerky. It's so good. It's like amazing. And it comes like in a vacuum seal. So you could take it on a flight. You could travel with it. And it's like in a vacuum seal, I don't know if you could do that in every country, but most countries, if it's in its original packaging unopened, they'll let it through. But anyway, it's a great thing. And it's maybe not the best thing to have like backstage during your pageant, but it's great for rehearsals because protein will help you feel fuller longer. And it's just so delicious. And it takes a lot to chew. So it kind of gives you that something to do, Anyway, beef jerky. Okay, Amber says, also saw a tip to add a little fun sticker. Oh, Amber, to add a sticker to your items. Why? Tell me more about the philosophy behind that. I like the idea if you like you can buy those smiley face stickers or something and stick them all over your stuff, but then other people don't know, oh, that goes with so-and-so, you know what I mean? So I'd be curious to hear, Amber, why the sticker thing. Okay, so ladies, that is all. I want to remind you, if you have not yet, go get the freebie. Like, I cannot stress enough that this thing, it literally took me a full month to put this together. I was like researching all the best products and I found them. Like it took me, I'm not kidding you, how much time I invested into this, that you won't have to because the work is already done for you, okay? So that is that. Now, if you made it to the end of this video and you're like, oh snap, this is good, then you are probably ready for some more training, okay? I've created the free pageant course for Mrs., Ms., Miss, and teen contestants, okay? This is for the adult contestant, really, like somebody that is able to learn online. It's an online training program. When you go to freepageantcourse.com, you'll be able to see how you can enroll in this course for free. And then you'll be able to go through all these videos, training. There's downloadables in there to really take your pageant training to the next level. Plus, I introduce you to a few other cool things that you can do with Win a Pageant. Okay, so now it's your turn. I'm ready to take your questions. I promised you that I would be able to get to any questions that you have. We've got about 20 minutes or so we can get through a lot of your questions. So if you have a pageant question, it doesn't have to be about what to pack. It could be anything related to your pageant that you want a coach to answer for you. Type it in the comments below right now. I have the comments up over here, so I'll be able to respond to them as they come in. Amber said the sticker, so she's explaining the sticker, for small items that the name tag can't fit on. Brilliant, like your chapstick or like your mouth spray or something like that. That's brilliant. So she said, if all your tags have a purple butterfly sticker, then the small items that the tag doesn't fit on can be the identifier as yours if there is multiple. Amber, go ahead, girl. That's smart. So like, let's say that you do put your tag on this and you put the purple butterfly sticker, and then somebody finds something else, your bobby pins or whatever, and on the package of your bobby pins, you've just got the purple sticker. Well, now they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And that's smart too, to use like a very specific sticker that someone else probably isn't going to use. If you use the smiley faces, like everybody uses those or whatever. So smart. I love that. All right. So I'm seeing if anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them now. If there are no questions, we'll move on. But Madison asks, how would you define a brand versus a platform? Madison, this is next level thinking. Like, you are brilliant just for asking this question. Okay, so your brand includes everything about who you are. It is not just the things that you do. It's the way that you look, and it's the way you make others feel, okay? Your brand is kind of like A, B, C. It's your appearance, so it's how you show up, the colors that you wear, the way that you look, the way that you care. It's your behavior, so how are you behaving? Those are your actions. That part of that includes your legacy project / your platform, how you're interacting with people, your personality, stuff like that. And it's your communication. So how are you showing up to others? What is the way in which you are responding to people? You know, all those things. So communication. That is your brand. Your platform is a small piece of that. Now, what a lot of women get wrong is that they kind of have a loose understanding of their brand. Like, they're like, oh, like I'm fun and I wear light pink. Like they're like, that's my brand, you know? And so then they think that their platform has to be like a fun platform and be marketed with light pinks. It's like, it's not how it works, okay? Your brand is more of a feeling and a memory that you leave with other people. And you communicate that through your appearance, your behavior, and your communications, okay? So ABC. So that's how you're getting your brand in people's minds and in their memories, okay? Your platform is a piece of that. So what you want to have those two related in is that they're both coming together in the feeling that you're presenting people with, okay? So I always say start with the brand first. Always start with your brand first, because the brand, it's not something that you create. It's something that you manifest. It already exists in you. When you understand it and when you see what already exists in you, then you can see it manifest in your appearance. You can see it manifest in your behavior and manifest in your communication. You do not create it. You don't say, now we're going to create. So now we're going to make you more fun. You need to have a more fun brand. So we're going to make you fun. Like, no, if you're not naturally like, oh, I'm so fun or I'm funny or whatever, then that's not your brand. Like, don't make it be something that it's not. Okay, so always start with that. If you are passionate about something, it's going to naturally come from your brand. And one of the ways it's going to manifest is in your platform, okay? So always start with branding first, then it will naturally reveal what your platform ought to be, okay? And then it's going to reveal how to work with your platform and things like that, and all of that stuff comes back. Like, that's why it gets confused, because we work with platform, we call it legacy project, which is like kind of like a platform, but even better. And so my clients use a legacy project, and when they have a legacy project, it is a branded version of a platform, right? So that's kind of like how it ties together. hopefully that helps. Great question, Madison, and good next level thinking too. Like I think that that's brilliant that you're even like knowing that those things are both important and that they're different. So trying to understand them is totally brilliant. In the pageant interview game plan, and Madison, I don't think that you're in the game plan, but I sell an online course called the Pageant Interview Game Plan. And it includes 4 modules that walk you through first your branding and understanding yourself. We create like stories to kind of to communicate that and your behaviors and all of that stuff. Then we launch into your legacy project, which is your platform branded. So we cover that in that game plan. Then we talk about communication. So now how do you use those things and now communicate it to others through your paperwork, through your onstage question, through all of your answers, through leading your interview, and then practicing it, you know? So it's like the whole kit and caboodle. So that might be something you're interested in if those are things that you're thinking about. Okay, Gloria says, what is the main thing that you look for in a good pageant system? Gloria, that is a great question too. Oh my gosh, I love you for asking this question. Like, so many women don't even think about asking, is this a good pageant system for me? Okay. It's going to be different for everybody, so that's why there's so many different pageant systems, and that's unfortunately also why sometimes you can compete in a system that everyone else thinks is so great, and you compete in it, and you're like, oh, it was awful, like it was rigged or whatever. Every pageant system functions a little bit differently. So the way to get behind this is to first think about what are your values, your core values, what's important to you, and then does that match the core values of the pageant, and also, what are you going to get out of this? And does that match the goals that you have for yourself? So in the pageant interview game plan, we actually go through specific questions to ask the director and to ask former contestants and former title holders are really better to ask. There's a specific list of questions. In fact, I think I have a podcast episode on this. I don't remember what episode is, but winapageant.com/podcast. And in the sidebar, you can go search. And if you look for like questions, it should come up in there. You'll have to probably scroll through it, but maybe questions for directors or something like that. You'll be able to find it. But anyway, it gives you the information that you need to really mine for what's important to them and is that important to me. And there will be some that it's not, you know. I remember when I competed in Miss USA pageant, at that time in my life, I was on this career trajectory. I had a completely different vision for what I wanted for my life. And I didn't know that it wasn't what I was competing for. Like I just didn't think about it in advance. I was like, oh, I just want to win this pageant. So I competed. I ended up getting called in the top 5. And I was like, what? Like, how am I in this group of women? Like, I was so confused. I was the oddball out. I was like, this is not for me after all. Like, I just suddenly realized, like, this doesn't fit my values. This doesn't fit my career trajectory. Like, I was like, not for me. So I ended up not winning that thing, thank goodness, you know. But it was because I was unprepared. And then I invested a lot of time and energy and money into the pageant, and it wasn't a good fit for me after all. So always ask those questions in advance. Excellent question, Gloria. Okay. Okay. Michonne, I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. If it's going to rain all of your pageant weekend, how would you prepare? I'm mostly worried about my hair since I'm all natural. Wonderful. Would it be acceptable to wear a wig? Well, it's always acceptable to wear a wig. You could consider doing that. Wigs are expensive and generally take a lot of time, especially if you're brand new to wig wearing. So you could find a ton of great wigs online. You could also find tutorials of how to wear them on YouTube and stuff. But what I would recommend is that instead you learn how to just manage your natural hair even in the rain, okay? So oftentimes, even if it's raining outdoors, the inside of the auditorium is likely going to be air conditioned, which when you air condition air, you remove the humidity, wetness from it. So it is possible that you could just figure out how you can do your hair to kind of get through the in-between. when I was competing in Florida, I competed in Florida, which in the summertime, I think it was like August. Florida in August is like miserable because it's super, super humid, like ridiculously, the most humid of all. It's like horribly humid and it's hot, like so hot. And I also have curly hair. And although at the time I was straightening it, so it was even worse because I was like trying to make it straight, but then it would like kink up on its own. So I just had to just keep straightening it like all the time. Like I just had to manage it, and it took a ton of effort and took a lot of time. But for me, it was better than trying to do a wig, which for me, learning a wig right before my pageant would not have been useful for me, you know? But wigs are totally fine. If that's something you want to go that route, I would recommend that you get started months in advance and start wearing it out and about. Like start actually using it so that you feel comfortable in it so it doesn't feel foreign when you put it on your head. You know, you need to know if your wig is like slightly off and you're walking around on stage, you need to know that that's happening so that you can like adjust it or whatever, you know? So things like that, you want to get really comfortable before the pageant. Okay, great question. Okay, Katie Storm says, for Miss America, in my paperwork for the locals, it has a form that says we have to disclose if we are working with a coach. Do we have to do that if we take the game plan course? Okay, so the game plan course is technically designed as an online training so that you do not have to say that you are working with a coach because technically you are kind of have a coach, but you're not working one-on-one. So you've got to remember, okay, so I want to make sure I do the paperwork correctly once I take your course. So what I recommend is that first of all, you could always ask your director if you truly are like trusting your pageant director. You're going to just ask them like, hey, what do you want me to do? Or you could write, I have taken several pageant courses online. You could put that instead of like, I have a coach kind of thing, you know? But it's by design that you wouldn't necessarily have to disclose that because it isn't working one-on-one with the coach. Think about the heart of that role, okay? The rule behind it is not to make you not work with a coach. It's because they want to know, is there somebody out there that's influencing the work that you're doing? The reason that the Miss America system, the reason that it's important to them is because all of Miss America runs on volunteers. So all of the directors, everybody backstage, all these people are volunteers. They're not making any money on this. So for them, they're like, hey, I've been volunteering in this organization for 15 years. But you're going to go hire a coach instead of pay me, you know, like they're not making money on these pageants, right? That's the heart of what I believe is the heart of the Miss America system saying, hey, could you just let us know if you're hiring a coach? Because what also happens is sometimes girls don't want to say that they're working with a coach. So they like keep it hidden. And then the director is like, wait, you want to change your dress all of a sudden? Wait, why are we changing your gown now last minute? And they're like, oh, well, because I don't know. And the director is like, what the heck? Where did this came out of left field? If the girl just says up front, well, I've been working with a coach, then the director knows, oh, okay, well, if you're working with, that's a different situation, you know? And oftentimes what works phenomenally is if the director is willing to also work with the coach, you can get so much done so much faster. So if you are working one-on-one with a coach, and this is why the disclosure is important, because then the director can say, perfect, can you introduce me to them? Let's get on the same page, you know? It's like if you were working with a personal trainer and a nutritionist and a chiropractor, you'd want those three people talking, you know, so that you're on the same page with your journey, you know, that it's not just like, oh, this person's telling me, because there's a few different ways to get to the same end result. And some people have, there's also a few different ways to get different results. So sometimes if you're just working with some like random person as your coach, your director might say, hey, look, I actually know that person and here's where something went sideways. So they'll be able to give you information. But if it's somebody that they're like, yep, perfect, good, they think the way I think, full speed ahead, you know? So yeah, that's my take on it. Just know their heart, where they're coming from with that. Okay. You're welcome, Gloria. You're welcome, Ashan. How do you personally get over your nerves for onstage question? Okay. So Riley's asking this question. Riley, the reason that people get nervous for onstage question is because they're so worried about the question that's going to be asked. And so we do these things to ourselves like, oh, well, if they ask me this, then I'm going to say this. And if they ask me that, then I'm going to say, and so then we practice these hypothetical answers to hypothetical questions. None of it exists. Then you end up on stage. They ask you something totally that you are unprepared for. And now you're like, oh my God, I have to come up with an answer. Okay. You're preparing the wrong way if you're nervous for onstage question, okay? The way that I personally relieve my nerves is I already know what I'm going to say. The scariest pageant questions are current events or politics, of which you might not know what's going on in the world, okay? That's a scary one. Fundraising ideas. How are you going to raise funds for your platform or for the pageant? Recruiting. How are you going to recruit for the pageant or for your platform? And fundraising, that, and then partnerships. How are you going to partner with our sponsor? How are you going to bring more partnerships? How are you going to get sponsors? Things like this, okay? Those are the things that are scariest. Why? Because most women do zero preparation, okay? In the game plan, remember I said you talk about branding, then we do legacy project, and then we do communication. In the communication aspect, we have a specific outcome for your specific legacy project, okay? Your legacy project, the reason that it is the game changer for everything is that your legacy project answers the questions to marketing, to recruiting, to fundraising, to legacy, to living on beyond you, to everything that your pageant is wondering, to sponsors, to the connection between you and the pageant. That's what we do in a legacy. A legacy project is built with all of those pillars built in, okay? So now when you get on stage, they could literally ask you anything, and your response will likely be something about your legacy project. And it's going to be personal to you. Like the biggest thing that will make or break an onstage answer is whether or not you can personalize the answer. So when a judge asks, like, what's the biggest problem happening to women your age today? Legacy project. Like I don't care what your legacy project is, there will be a way to use your legacy project as an answer to that question, okay? It just will. There will. How about, how do you see the coronavirus affecting your year as a title holder? Legacy project. It's like literally every answer can come back to your legacy project. And your legacy project is also personal. So while someone else is going to just answer the question directly with like whatever answer they come off the top of their head, well, I'm not overly concerned because I maintain my health and I really keep up with a strong immune system. So I think that, our pageant delegates and the travel, and I think it's going to be great. You're like, well, she answered the question, but that wasn't great. She said nothing about her own personal brand, legacy project. Okay. In fact, I believe the only way to eliminate nerves in your onstage question is to have a strong legacy project because it's literally the answer to everything, okay? When I competed in Miss International, I actually had an answer pre-formulated. I had the whole thing figured out already because I knew they were going to ask me about fundraising, about recruitment, about sponsors, or about current events. And so I'm like, no matter what they ask me, boom, here's my answer. I get up on stage. I was listening to the question still because I was going to tailor it to that, And then they asked me one of those 3 questions and I answered it with the answer I already prepared. That's how, okay? All right, hopefully that helps. All right, thank you, Riley. Good question. Okay, Julia, I have a 30-second intro option. Definitely use it. Struggling with more accomplishment-focused or personal facts? Neither. Thoughts? I have all of them written out and I've recorded to see what's resonated. Okay, Julia, you're in the game plan, right? I think you're in the game plan. Your 30-second intro should be your promise, proof, and plan. It should be exactly the things you want. Okay, because whatever you say in your initial 30 seconds, it has to be opening all of those. Remember in the game plan, we talk about opening conversation loops. So we have this strategy. The game plan is all about strategy, okay? So it's all about it's not just like where to look, like make good eye contact or whatever. It's like you have actual strategies and stuff. So Juliet, remember in the game plan how we talk about conversation loops. You have to open the loop so that they are begging to close it, okay? Your 30-second intro is about opening a bunch of loops, not about dumping a bunch of facts, okay? That's the thing that a lot of other women will do is they'll just dump a bunch of garbage and the judges will be like, oh, we like her, she's nice. They're gonna like you anyway because of all the stuff you're learning about behavior and communications, right, and your branding. You have to do the promise and proof and plan. Here's all the things I have going on. Here's why this is important. Here, la, la, la. Now you've opened up all these little things that they're like, what? You've got this going and then I want to ask her more about those things, right? So you are in full control of the entire interview when you start with your opening statement, okay? Brilliant. I love that you're doing that. Okay. Are you supposed to try to take the mic over for onstage questions? Sometimes it gets awkward when people use a mic talking to you, but they don't let go. My comfort level, I like holding the mic. It feels awkward when I'm not handed it. Yeah, so I would let them hold it for you, because when you hold it, first of all, they are going to be like sticking that thing like this close to your mouth. It's going to be really, really close to your mouth. And when you're doing that, it's going to look weird, okay? You would rather have them doing it like this, okay? Trust me. When you're holding it, you're going to want to, it's like, if they do it, and if the MC is a great MC, which usually they are, then the MC will be able to handle that just fine, okay? Plus, it doesn't go don't every time. Now, I was like you. I was like, I have to hold the mic because I'm the same way. It's hard for me to speak when I'm like, I would just yak with my hands, right? But in this case, and especially because an onstage question should really only be like 30 seconds of an answer, maybe 60 at tops, I would let them just practice having them hold it, because that's going to happen at other events where you're going to be expected to just not hold the mic. Okay, so I would practice that. Sometimes they'll say, oh, and then the MC hands you the mic. That's fine. But if you go grabbing for it, and then it's going to get even awkward. So I totally hear what you're saying about that. Okay, cool. Riley, you're welcome. Welcome. Gloria, I totally agree with first really nailing down your personal values and then finding a pageant that reflects that. Do you have any advice for actually searching for or discovering pageant systems? Well, I don't write the second, but I'm working on that next. In fact, that's my very next project to bring to you. But right now, I do not. Gloria, I think you are actually in our Facebook group for members. So if you are, in fact, for everyone listening, anyone that purchases from winapageant.com/courses gets access to a Facebook group where we have Q&A almost once a month. So if that's something that interests you, anybody can buy. You have to be a purchaser. It can't just be through the free pageant course. You have to purchase something to get access to that. But the lowest price item right now is maybe $27 or something to get to it. So Gloria, if you're in that, I would make a post. Say, hey ladies, what pageant systems do you recommend? Can you give me a link to them? And have them just start recommending everything, like that's what that group is for. You'll see a lot. These women have been in all kinds of amazing things. Like actually, and many of them have been title holders in them too. So you'll be able to start asking the questions that we say to ask of the title holders, right? So really awesome group there. So utilize that group. I think it'd be great for you. Okay, Juliet, yes. Okay, Veronica, you have so much knowledge. Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure. I'm happy to have you on. It's great. Cool, Gloria. Yes, got it. That makes sense, Juliet. Awesome. So ladies, I highly, highly encourage you to join the free pageant course if you have not yet. That would be the very next step. Then when you're ready to like crank it up and you want to be involved in our online group where we do Q&As like this on a regular basis, you get these types of questions answered regularly. Purchase something from the courses shop, and I'll see you in that group. Great. All right, ladies, until next time, I will see you soon. Thanks again for joining. Bye for now.